So today I'm going to teach you how to contour, how I contour and highlight. I mostly use powder. I like to use powders to contour and highlight, but I also like to use cream contour and highlight under it, just so that it can last longer. My issue with the powders, or some of the powders, even if they're very pigmented, they don't last all day on my skin. I have very oily skin, so it doesn't last all day. So what I do is add cream, contour, and highlight before I put on powders. That way it can stick on there for as long as I want it to. So the cream, contour, and highlight is going to make the powder stick, and it won't be sliding off your face for the whole entire day. If you want to learn how I contour and highlight, please keep watching. So I already have my eyes done. First of all, I'm going to use this Mary Kay face primer with SPF 15 in it. And I have to use a primer just because, like I said, I have really oily skin. So if I don't, it's gonna be sliding off my face. And I have really oily skin. Sometimes I can't control it. So putting on a primer just makes it a little bit easier to control. I'm gonna take this Maybelline Fit Me Shine Free foundation stick, and I'm gonna take it in the color Coconut, and this is what I'm gonna use for my cream contour. And I'm gonna apply it there, there, and there. Now the reason why I do this before my foundation is so that it can actually stick. Once I put the foundation, everything on top of it just seems to turn out a little bit lighter. So I put this on after my primer, and then I just apply my foundation around it, just so that it can stick on very well to the primer, if that makes sense. And right now I'm just using this BH Cosmetics stippling brush. And I know it looks really harsh right now, but after the foundation it'll come together a little bit and we'll blend it up a little bit more. I know it's applying very orangey on my skin tone, but like I said, I applied this and then the powder contour. So the powder contour is actually a little bit more cooler in tone, so it'll all come together once everything is applied. And for my foundation, I'm going to use this L'Oreal True Match Lume, and my shade is in W4. This is my absolute go-to foundation. Like I said, I have very oily skin, and this is a semi-dewy foundation, but it still goes on my skin very matte after I set it. After a couple of hours it does get a little bit dewy, but that's why I love it, because it doesn't get so greasy on my face even though I have very oily skin. So I'm just applying that everywhere where I didn't put that bronzer. And if you can see, the contour actually fades on its own right after I put my foundation, just because the foundation helps it to blend a little bit more. And I always run it down my neck just in case it's not the same exact shade. We don't want that mask effect. See, as you can see, it does not make my face dewy at all. It actually gives it that mattifying effect. And like I said, I do set it with a powder, with a shine control powder, but after a couple of hours it does turn dewy, and I don't even have to reset it with the powder after a while. I do sometimes, but I don't have to if I don't want to. That's what I love about this foundation. This is my go-to foundation, and even though it's a dewy finish, it gives me that mattifying effect, and once that starts to wear off, it completely looks natural even after all that time. I don't have any problems with this foundation. I'm going to go back to that BH Cosmetics stippling brush. Contour had the cream contour shade. And I'm just going to blend it out a little bit more. I do love that intense contour and highlight lit look, that Kim K look. So I do tend to go a little bit overboard with it, but to each their own. Apply it as much as you want. And I mean, this is just my personal preference. And by the way, I didn't apply that much of the contour stick. It's just very creamy, so it does go a little bit, does go a long way. And apply a little bit under my bottom lip just to make it look a little bit more fuller. Now for the highlight, I'm going to use this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles, and this is in the color Fair. It's this one. It's my favorite under eye concealer just because it doesn't crease. Well, on my skin tone at least, on my skin type at least. So I'm just gonna drag it all the way back to my temple in a triangle shape, down my nose, the same to the other eye, on my chin, Cupid's bow, and on my forehead. I know it looks like a lot, but I promise it's not that much. So I'm going to take this Real Techniques, what is a stippling brush. I also like to use the Beauty Blender, but today I'm just going to use the stippling brush just because I'm using cream products and powder products. So I feel that with the stippling brush, it just works for me. It works the cream products very nicely, in my opinion. As well as the Beauty Blender. A damp Beauty Blender works just as well. So it's all up to you, whatever you want to use. But with this concealer, you can really use anything, even your fingers. I'm just not a big fan of using my fingers, just because of the fact I don't like to have dirty hands. There's no extra product that I'm applying under the contour. I just do it to blend it out a little bit more and sharpen up that line a little bit more. Now can you see how creamy that blended out, how easily that blended out? And I do always use for my concealers the lightest shade just because I'm already naturally fair. So if I get the same color as my skin tone for a highlight, I don't really get that harsh carved out highlight like I want. So I usually get the lightest shade in the range of the product I'm getting, just because I love that intense Kim Kardashian highlighted look. We're going to move on to the powder part of the contour and highlight. And for this, I'm going to use the NYX, what is this? Highlight and Contour Pro Palette. I love this. This is so pigmented. The colors are so amazing. For the contour color, let me get my brush. I'm going to, let's see. I'm gonna use this color right here. Can you see the colors, how amazing they are? This banana powder right here, oh wait, sorry, right here is amazing. I love it for under the eyes. It's a dupe for Midnight Banana powder. I love it. These powders are dupes for very high-end powders for the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette. The Kat Von D contour palette, this one is just as good and affordable. So I'm going to take that contour color and apply it right where I put the cream color. And like I said, I really like that intense contour look. But if you don't like it, if you like to go for a more natural contour, then you can skip the cream contour and it won't look as harsh. I just do it because it lasts longer on my skin type because of the oily skin that I have. And it does make it look harsher, but I don't mind because I love that look. And this is just it's a very old brush. I think it was from Target. It's just, I always use it to contour. It's a very old brush, but you can use what you have. I'm just putting it everywhere where I put the cream color. On my nose. Under my lip. Okay. So we are done with the contour. And to highlight, I'm going to use this color right here. I'm gonna set under my eyes. See how pigmented that is? It's just incredible. I believe this palette was $25, around that price range. I got mine at Ulta, and you can get it at Ulta, or I believe Target also has them. And what I'm also gonna do is what they call bake. So I'm gonna take that same color on my brush and apply it right under the cheekbones where I contoured. Just to sharpen up that line. Clean it up a little. I'm gonna leave it like that for a little while, and we'll go back and blend it out. So now what I'm gonna do is apply my blush. And I'm gonna use this BH Cosmetics 10 Color Professional Blush Palette. Let me show you all the colors this has. Isn't that amazing? All those colors. Very affordable. I believe this was $10.95. They always have specials on that website, bhcosmetics.com, so go ahead and go check it out. I love that website. So today for my blush, I am going to use I'm gonna use this one right here. I'm gonna use this one on top just to make it a little tiny bit more brighter. Okay, I'm gonna go back with my Real Techniques stippling brush and just blend everything I did. Now it looks a little bit more better. I'm gonna go back to the NYX contour palette and I'm gonna highlight my cheekbones with this shade right here. And I'm going to use this brush from BH Cosmetics. These BH Cosmetics brushes, I usually get them in the sets with the roll-up bag that they come in. I believe I just got one or two that came by themselves individually, but I usually get them in the packs that they come in. So I'm going to take that color from the NYX contour palette. I'm going to apply it right on top of my cheekbones. It's gorgeous. I love this palette so much. Right down my nose, on my cupid's bow, and a little bit on top of my eyebrow, just to pull it all together. Isn't that color gorgeous? I love it. Okay, now to finish off this look, I'm gonna apply a lip gloss. I'm gonna use the Maybelline, what is this called? I believe they're the Maybelline Elixir glosses. I'm not completely sure. This one is in the shade Petal Plush. They're these right here. This is the final result. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please let me know what you want to see next. I highly recommend this palette if you've been on the edge of purchasing it or not. It's very affordable compared to the high-end contour and highlight palettes. I really love it, and the first time I used it, I just fell in love with it. The colors are super pigmented, they're super blendable, super creamy. I just love it. There's nothing bad I can say about this palette. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.